Hey guys, welcome back to Art with Mari. My name is Mari and today I'm going to be practicing with my acrylic paints. I chose My Little Pony just because they're very simple. I can really focus on the technique of the acrylics and just really learning how to use them instead of worrying about, trying to paint this masterpiece or complex shapes and all that. So don't judge me for My Little Ponies. It's not going to be the subject of this channel, I promise. But today I painted a Pinkie Pie and a Fluttershy. Now this first go I did actually did not turn out the way that I had intended. The Pinkie Pie, I ended up, well, you'll see this in a couple minutes. I ended up it was just basically the show style just done in acrylic, and that's not what I wanted. It just kind of developed that way. I think I was just staying in my comfort zone with the Pinkie Pie, honestly, is what happened with that. But you'll see how I did the Pinkie Pie in a couple minutes as I start painting. But the second painting I did is a Fluttershy. That's later in the video, and that one turned out more like how I was trying to practice. I didn't, rely on outlines to build my shapes. Everything kind of stood on its own without any line art involved. So you will notice in this Pinkie Pie, her hair is a little bit different than how it normally is in the show. I actually based it off of an episode where Pinkie Pie got a hold of Rarity's shampoo, and in that episode her hair was a lot poofier and curlier. It was just bigger, and I just thought it was so pretty, so I really wanted to paint that hairstyle for her today. At the end of this painting, I actually ended up adding some little gems on it. I just thought it would be cute. And like I said in my previous video, I'm like obsessed with adding 3D elements to acrylic paintings. I don't know why, it makes it like, it's like a blend of mediums. It's like crafty and paint at the same time. I just love this idea of adding 3D things to my paintings. But those will be later videos. I have a couple other ideas for that. I mentioned that in my first video on this channel, my art haul, so you'll see more of what I'm talking about later. So the second painting I did was Fluttershy. You can see here I sketched her out first. I transferred her onto some tracing paper, and then I in turn traced that onto a canvas panel, or not canvas panel, a masonite panel. I really enjoyed the masonite panel a whole lot more than I did the canvas, which I did the Pinkie Pie on, just because the surface is smoother, and I found that the paints dry a little bit slower on that because they're not getting caught in the cotton fibers. You know how canvases kind of have that linen-y kind of texture. The paint wasn't getting caught in that, and I think just the panel isn't as absorbent as a cotton, stretched canvas is, so I was able to work the paints a little bit more. Another thing I noticed with this one was that the paint went on a lot smoother. Like, I think with the hair I only had to do one layer of color, whereas on the canvas it was just harder to lay down paint on the canvas. I don't know if it was because it was a cheaper canvas. It was not a fancy canvas that I did the Pinkie Pie on, but so far I'm really loving masonite panels for painting, and pretty sure that's what I'm going to be sticking with in the future. I do have a nicer canvas, I don't know how fancy Master's Touch brand canvas is, but I'm pretty sure it's a step up from the Pinkie Pie canvas that I use. But I mean, I'm still going to give canvases a chance, but so far I'm really digging the masonite panels. So right here I'm laying down Fluttershy's hair, and again I tried really hard to tell myself I'm not going to do any outlines on this one. The focus of me using acrylic paint was not to just draw the My Little Pony style just in paint, because that's not really painting. I was just laying down color and just mimicking. I was basically just drawing with paint, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted to paint with my paint, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really was nervous with this Fluttershy, and it really wasn't up until the point that I started doing the highlights on her hair that I started to get confident in my painting. I remember, like, up until this point I was like, oh gosh, this is not turning out very well. I wasn't happy with the shading. I was trying to figure out how to blend the shading a little bit more, and in hindsight I wish I had used some oranges and just went a little bit further down the color wheel to add more interest to it. But I think I was just nervous, and I didn't want to, do anything too bold and brave for my first dive back into acrylic paints. I do keep saying that I'm new at acrylic paints. It's not really true. It's not that I haven't used acrylic paints ever. It's just that it's been about a good 4 or 5 years since I've used them. So this Pinkie Pie and this Fluttershy is my first time using them in a very, very long time. So I guess you kind of can say I'm new, because I didn't really do that much before now, and I'm just now getting back into it. I don't know, I'm new-ish to acrylic paints. So let's see, right here I'm trying to add some blush. I remember this blush gave me so much trouble. I was trying so hard to blend it, and I kept having to go over it and do it over and over again. Like, I cut out a lot of that. You just see how much I struggled with this blush. I believe at this point I was getting happy with it. I was able to blend it some more. I think I just needed to get some, more layers on the canvas to to get it to blend smoothly in the way that I wanted. You'll also notice, if you're very sharp, you'll notice that from this shot, from the previous shot, her hair actually changed substantially. I didn't, it went from just a solid lay down of her hair colors to it jumped to now there's all these little extra details in her hair. Sorry I didn't film that part. I really don't think you really missed anything, honestly. But with my current camera, I can only film for about like 4 or 5 minutes at a time. And I think I just forgot to record that little segment. So let's see, at this point I'm laying down the hair highlights, and it was at this point where I really started to get confident in this painting. If you've ever seen, I have seen a lot of acrylic paints, in progress, watching artists who are phenomenal at acrylics, and just that beginning stage, they never look good. No matter how nice the painting turns out in the end, in the beginning it looks so bad when you're just laying down those base colors. So I remember, like, when I first started this Fluttershy, I was like, oh god, this is gonna look so bad. And now at this point, when I'm adding the highlights, it's starting to come together. I was like, oh, you know what, this isn't so bad. Like, I can get down with this. So I'm really excited to try some more paintings now that I've, got my feet wet back into the medium, and I'm learning how to blend them and how to use them. So I think this one turned out pretty good in the end. I mean, like I said, there's always going to be something you can critique about your artwork. There are a lot of things I would do differently now in hindsight, but you just have to apply that to the next painting and learn, and so on and so forth. Did I mention yet that I'm putting these in my Etsy shop? I don't know if I did. I think I did at the beginning. I don't know, but I'm gonna say it again. Since I don't think these turned out too terribly bad, so I'm actually gonna put these both in my Etsy shop. So if you would like to, if you like these and would like to support me in buying more art supplies and practicing some more, I really appreciate it. If you want to buy these, they're not gonna be very expensive. I'm just throwing them up there to try to recoup some of the costs of the art supplies so I can go buy more and keep practicing. So if you do like these enough and decide to buy them, I really appreciate it. And again, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier in the video either, is like, that's actually another reason why I chose ponies as my subject matter for these practice paintings, is because fan art of characters tends to sell. People love to see their, their favorite characters or popular TV shows drawn by other people. So I thought, well, hey, maybe somebody will want to, buy my little pony paintings, and that way I can buy more art supplies to keep practicing and get back some of those costs that I spent on the paint and the canvas and all that good stuff. So there's that. Here I'm laying down her eye color. I'm trying to get a nice gradient. I remember here I wanted to like get a really nice deep blue and fade it to that kind of teal color that Fluttershy has in her eyes. So I'm trying to build that up right now. And I think at this part, I think this is the part where I kind of broke my rule a little bit, and I started using outlines a little bit. I just felt like I'm not as, how can I say that, as I guess skilled with my strokes yet to feel confident with the shape of her eyes without a little bit of an outline. So I did outline her eyes and her pupil a little bit. Her iris, I outlined her iris rather. And you'll see me doing that a little bit later when I get to the whites of her eyes. But right now I'm laying down the black for her eyes. And again, at this point I was getting even more happy with the result because it's really starting to come together. The eyes are my favorite part, and I tend to put a lot of details and shines in them, and eyelashes and eye shines and all that stuff. So just seeing that black, her lashes get on there and start adding details, I'm like, okay, yes, I got this. I was getting a lot happier with my painting at this point. And I remember here, I think I'm gonna try to erase this. Yep, there it goes. I'm trying to erase that little eyelash. It felt out of place to me, and I decided, nah, I don't want that there. So there's me trying to get it off, and I was very successful at getting that off. And let's see, I think, yeah, I had to lay down several layers of the black. I think the black was behaving kind of weird. It wasn't like wanting to go on very well. I had to do several layers, I think, because the black was a little bit old. Some paints I used in this painting were, I've had for a very long time, whereas other ones I just bought, specifically for this video, or for these practice paintings. So I think the black had just been sitting there a little bit too long and it started to separate, but I mixed it back together pretty well. What else? There was something else I wanted to say. Oh yes, if you'll notice too in this painting series, or not in this series, but just these two paintings, I've noticed that you could really see the strokes in the artwork. Like I felt like I laid it on too thick or something. I don't know. Like I felt like the paint shouldn't have been, like you shouldn't have you shouldn't have been able to see the strokes as well as you have. I don't know. It's just something that kind of bugged me. I'm not sure if that's correct or not to feel that way. I think maybe you're supposed to see the strokes. I mean, it's not that, I know you're supposed to see the strokes, but I mean like I guess I felt like the paint was lumpy or something. Like there was some technique to get it to lay. I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I don't know if I'm right in feeling that way or not, but I just felt like the only way I can think of to describe it is I felt like it was too lumpy or something. Like I didn't have a whole lot of control over how the paint laid down or something. Maybe I just need better paint brushes. But that's something I'm going to try to improve upon in the future videos, or future paintings rather. So right here I'm laying down some details for the eyes. I had the most fun with the eyes. I loved getting eyes all detailed and pretty. And I think I'm finishing up here. There's me adding the line art to the eye, like I said. In the future I'm going to try not to use any lines at all, but here I kind of did it just because I guess I wasn't feeling confident, and I just wasn't feeling confident leaving the eye unlined. So here I am laying down some white. And I think it's nearly done at this point. I think I added some little sparkles on her hair. Yep, there it is. And we're all done. This is the finished product. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time in my next video.